Well, good, I made it. I was scratching my nose. Partners are not your therapist. So let's talk about that. I'm back. I'm Linda Kay Gifford. I survived several 7-ish years of being groomed and then assaulted for 3 of them, and then a lifetime of trying not to think about it and hating myself when I did, and negative and self-destructive behavior, to finally reaching a point that I had to change or live that way forever, and living that way forever wasn't going to be an option for me because, like I was talking about before I went on a little video break there and came back, because I just got the opportunity to go live, and now I'm like, I have so much to say. So I do want to throw in that I work with partners. I said I work with men and I work with trans. I have all gender identities in my family. I personally raised my children to, I mean, they did whatever they wanted, but I raised my children with the attitude that you are nothing until you fall in love or feel desire, and then you'll know. You're not straight, you're not gay. I don't even like labels. You don't have to pick. Just be non-binary, I guess. Or there's so many names, pardon me if I get it wrong. But I personally have been married to men. I have a partner now who ain't none of your business if they are a she or a he, or a he or a she. And I like to keep it that way. Partly for their own protection, because some people don't like some of my attitudes, you know. Like, while I talked earlier about how it's very important to me to be intimately, mentally, as well as physically connected. I have to have a mental collection. You have to fuck my mind before you can fuck my body. That's what I'm trying to say. And that should be the way you are too. Marriage should not be arranged. I will not respect anybody's culture that takes women's rights away from them and forces them to do something they don't want to do, or deprives them of an education, or rapes their own stepdaughters, can marry their own stepdaughters, call it marriage, and sell your daughter, and or worse yet, just set her on fire, tie her to a tree and stone her, perhaps, if you catch her in the eastern villages of Pakistan, cheating on you. It's like the world would be better off if we all just started from a point of self-respect, not judgment. I know people who, for some reason, they seem to honestly like having sex with multiple people, and they're all friends, and they're like, it's okay, I don't have an inner circle like that. I know of a guy online long distance that it seems to be working out with, but hey, I'm not there. They're probably all fucked up in the head, pardon my language. But maybe not. Point is, it ain't none of my business, and it ain't none of your business. So let's just leave people be and not worry about who does what with what's in their pants, as long as everybody agrees and they actually like it. That being said, if they don't like it, don't do it. Like, what was it? Saturday night, late Saturday night. Late night, Saturday night. Okay, Saturday Night Live. That's what I'm trying to say. It was just don't rape her. So if you come across a woman in an alleyway, just don't rape her. It's like, oh, that was hilarious. Pretty to the point, you know. And look for red flags in people. But here's the deal. You can't turn your partner into your therapist. And this is where a whole lot of people I talk to go wrong. They're driving the person who actually might, I'm not there, but who they believe this person loves them. This person, for whatever reason, has stuck around in their life. And through the time I'm coaching them, they have an ongoing relationship with this person. So I'm going to call this person a significant other who, let's assume, for the purposes of this analogy, actually love each other. And that this person is trying. But there's only so much you can try to love someone who doesn't love themselves before you just give up, you know. And worse, some people, some partners, because they also feel the trauma bind, the trauma empathetic bound to the person that they love that suffered the abuse, but that they really don't think they can have a life with, because this person is stuck in the what happened to me, what happened to me, what happened to me phase, instead of moving on to the I'm going to accept what happened to me, and I'm going to put this away. And I started to talk about this on the last video, and then I tangented back to it. The box. I'm going to make a box, and I'm going to call it Sweet, after the Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund, which is my new charity. And that box is going to be symbolic, and you can put whatever you want in it that symbolizes what you are because of CSA. Find trinkets, find something that to you says, this reminds me that I'm a survivor, and put it in the box. Then put the box onto the shelf. The way I decided that this came up in my mind is a physical thing, and I think I'm going to make it. I'm going to make them and sell them to raise money for the Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund, because I talked about it like a year and a half ago. I started talking about the mental file. The way I do it, I like create a file in my mind that I used to just repress, push that spring down to the ground, all the memories of what happened to me. I mean, it's not like I didn't ever know. I never like forgot them. I didn't have amnesia. I dissociated to the point though that I locked them away in their own separate place, like a file, except I put it in my gut. I stored that file in my heart, in my gut, and the center of my vortex, and the who I am, instead of something that happened to the body that I'm in. And so what I want you to do, if you'll do it, this is what I did. You do what you want. This is what I do every day. When it rears its ugly head, this is one of those C-PTSD things I do that separates the past from the present. Now, instead of trying to not think about the memory that's starting to wash over me, I immediately go into like a peaceful trance, and I just let it wash over me. I let the sensation, it's usually a sound, a smell, a taste, the feeling someone's cramming their dick and balls in my face and I can't breathe. That I let it wash over me. And instead of starting to cry, I just start what I was doing earlier, only I caught it sooner. So now I'm going to ground myself in reality. Okay, memories washing over me. No more dick and balls in my throat. I can breathe. It's 2022. I'm Linda Gifford. I've been through lots of therapy. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to let it go away. That's my past. Bye-bye past. I'm going to talk myself through it. You're going to become your own cheerleader. And if you think people who talk to themselves are crazy, then this may not be the program for you, because I'm literally going to teach you how to do that, because you need to. You're going to cheerlead yourself through life. And it doesn't feel fake though. I cheerlead myself through life, and it's hilarious. I laugh a lot. I saw a CSA post for the first time that someone actually, they were like laughing with their friends, and it said, and one person was going like horrified look in the group, and she's like, yeah, when your friends and you are laughing about your past of CSA, and the one new person's like mortified. And I'm like, yeah, looking back and laughing is a tall order. I don't really quite get to there, but I do put myself in a societal context now. What happened to me sucked, and it's not going to define who I am anymore. I realize now that I am not the body that I am in. And by the way, person who told me that my makeup is too white, I don't wear makeup. I do wear color, okay? There's some eyeliner, mascara stuff going on there, and a little touch of lipstick, right? If I'm going to get really crazy, I'll put a little boomstick here and here, but the skin, that's the color I came in, buddy. That's the color I came in. I actually add color to it. I actually filter it to add peach to it. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm trying. All right, I'm trying. But I never really like to lay out, which is fortunate now for my skin's sake. There we go. When I was little, I always wanted to be somebody else, somebody exotic, which to me, exotic meant dark skin, brown eyes, big almond eyes, you know. Anyway, I'm okay. I don't worry about that stuff anymore. And that's something that survivors do. Might as well go into that. Survivors, I wrote about this right away in my book. We walk into any room, any place with fear and anxiety, and we may mask it well, and I can mask it, I can, but inside of me, I am vibrating. I feel like I might throw up half the time, because my first thought is, I'm going to come across arrogant. I don't think that. I'm saying, to some people, I will come across as arrogant because I will walk in so regally, but really, I have steeled myself to try to be equal to the lowest amongst men. I'm trying to be as good as the worst amongst you. Maybe not the worst, but you know, walking into a restaurant or a bar or a church or a wedding, or, you know, I'm a nervous wreck. I don't go to dinner parties. Like, I will find any reason not to. I can talk in front of thousands of people. I can sing in front of thousands of people and play my flute, but that's all me and you, separate things. That's an energy feed that I'm not. It's an empath. It's, you know what it is? It's like removing the empath. It's still empathic, but it puts a layer of music or control in there. And I do like that energy, but when it gets so one-on-one turbulent, you know, and it's just hard to bear face to face. And this is why, and I'm still talking about partners, this is why you can't turn your partner into your therapist, and why you should have a coach or a therapist, because God bless him, your partner loves you. We already determined we're going to accept that premise for this analogy. Your partner loves you, and while they do need to know what happened to you, they don't need to know the play-by-play. They don't need to know, and then I felt this, and then he did that, and then she did that, and it was, you know, every day of your life. They need to know enough to know the level of violation you have experienced. For me, if I were being real, you know, I've been raped, I've been gang raped, I've been passed off to a cousin, I've been drugged, I've been drunk all the time, giving me alcohol. I was taken on rides in the country. I knew that if I didn't give him a blowjob, I wouldn't get home again. I could go, you know, my partner doesn't watch my live streams. At least I don't think so. We don't talk about it. I said, you probably don't want to, because, you know, but the thing is, that's not something I'm going to bring up every day. He knows that. Your partner knows that when you choke up in sex and he's looking you in the eyes. And if you have a good partner who knows the basics of what you've been through, you do something like we did, which is just establish a word. It's kind of a joke the first time, but then when it actually happened to me, which I didn't think it would, but I had like a PTSD flashback during a moment, and it's a moment I wanted to be in, and that's what I realized. Like, I realized I want to be in this moment. I like to be in this moment. This is me making the decision to be in this moment, and it separated myself from the past sensation taking over and realizing, no, this is new, good sensation, not past violation sensation. You know, and that's something a lot of people look down on survivors for too, is if they admit, like everyone thinks it was like horribly painful. And yes, being sodomized was horribly painful, and actually being raped the first time was horribly painful too. And being choked on a dick routinely is frightening and painful. But as far as the actual intercourse part, you just go away. You just want it to be over with. You just pretend like you're asleep. You just go away. You know, so it's a whole different level than a person who is like violently raped as an adult or a child, to be groomed into the behavior and the self-loathing all at once. But you're still human, right? And so when you're feeling these things that feel good with the partner you want to be with, that I prefer you establish a love bond with before you're there. I don't give my body to somebody I'm not already in love with. And I've redefined love a few times, yeah, because I'm human. I'm not saying be a virgin till you get married either, because I'm not even a believer. I like marriage as long as it's about coming together, saying, you know, if you want to say to people and your family to make it like official, we're going to, you know, we want to be together. And like from now on, this is us, we are a we now. Sure. But the documentation, I told my kids, only do it if it's a legal or tax advantage. If you need it for the insurance. Most people get married to somebody because one of them's got better insurance. And that's something that needs to change in society, and I could talk for an hour about that. But we're not going to go there. So I would certainly, you know, be happy saying to the world, I think I already have, that I'm with my partner from now on, until and unless we decide not to. And that's all I would say in any marriage. I don't understand the legal document unless you're going into this for the wrong reasons, or you're so not sure that you need a legal out, you know? And people will be like, oh, I didn't have a prenup and I got screwed, whatever. It's like, well, why don't we start changing the language of society and the language we speak to ourselves about our own self-worth, and start raising a society of people who actually get it right the first time, who value themselves enough not to just share themselves physically with everyone because they're conditioned into thinking that's what you're supposed to do. You know, you feel love, you feel intimacy, you feel true desire for the right reasons. Awesome. Have some great sex. I do all the time. But it took that bond, and it took me 3 marriages, tries, therapy to get there. So I'm just saying, you might take a little time to examine things, lest you don't end up in divorces and therapy also. Although I do recommend therapy to everybody. Like I said, I have a therapist. I'm seeing an orthopedist, so I think I reverted in my mind, therapist. I have a therapist. Maybe I need a speech therapist. I had one of those too as a child, and I'm self-conscious about that too, because I lisp naturally, so I have to learn to push it out there, right? So I'm conscious of always pushing my jaw forward. And as a singer, I think, like, I look at myself sing, I'm like, oh, you look terrible. I think I sound pretty okay, but I look terrible. So back to partners, back to the theme. It's all about the theme, but tying it back together, don't turn your partner into your therapist. Your partner should be your soft place to fall, your amusement park. Maybe for me, I'd even say, I won't say not my spiritual center, that's all mine. But the center of my universe now is me and my partner when we are combined together in intimate combination, and especially at the moment of climax. That's when I feel like I have joined an expanded universe. And I've never associated anything like that with any sexual experience before. So now that I know it can happen, I work with people. They start talking in groups online, and we message back and forth and try to help people to respect themselves first. Learn to respect yourself so that you can get there. And, you know, some of these people that we go into that, they keep wallowing back. There's still that person that's angry about their past. And I'm angry about my past too. Don't get me wrong. And I've got a whole chapter on anger. I've got a whole chapter in my book called Forgiveness is Overrated. And I get pretty pissed off in it too. That's all pinned. Those chapters are up and they're pinned to my Facebook page if you want to read them. I don't know if I can put a link on here to that. I could. I'll do that. But you can just go to Linda Kay Survived. I think the name change went through on Facebook because I had Sweet Survivor up there before, which is the name of my rescue charity. But nobody is contributing much to my rescue charity because I don't know why. Probably because I'm not pushing it enough. So I'm going to push it also on here. Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund. Please contribute, become a monthly subscriber. I just took that down. There's a new subscription service that's going to come up, and it's going to be that, like everybody else does, $5 a month for the price of a cup of coffee. And I chose one that you actually can go in and turn it on and off and pause it yourself right in app. So nobody has to worry about like, I can't get through on the phone to cancel it, because that really pisses me off. Partners, if the person that you feel love for will not try to improve, try to change, try to find tips and techniques to control their past triggers to the point that it interferes with you having a healthy social or sex life, then you need to politely bail. You don't owe it to anybody or the universe to stay with somebody just because somebody else damaged them. Because what they are doing is refusing to heal themselves. Everybody's been damaged in some way. There are poor little rich kids that were neglected, that are damaged, that just wish someone would have freaking slapped them to have some touch, all the grass looks greener. All the grass looks greener from the other side. I just had a Ukrainian-Russia flash as I was saying that. I'm just mortified. I would do it too. I'm going to go back when I get off here. I'll tune in to the war. I'm going to tune in on social media and on the news, on CNN and on NBC and on YouTube live streams, and I'm going to watch the war like it's a freaking live stream, like it's a series that I don't know when it's going to end. And what we all need to do is, I don't even know. I don't want nukes flying either. But we're watching people just be massacred, and